KOIAI are back, and in this video we're not only going to be talking about the return of the band with seemingly a new 5-piece lineup. Well, there's enough to talk about right there, but we're also going to do a little bit of reaction where we're going to listen to the new singer, MIREI Sakurada. I think I got that right, Sakurada. I need to remember her name. We're going to listen to one of her songs so we can get a feeling for her voice, because I have not heard her voice yet. So we will be checking out her song where it's her cover of a Yoasobi song. Yeah, we've got a lot of things to cover in this video, but first of all, let's hit that number one thing. Get ready? KOIAI are back as a 5-piece. It's good news, isn't it? Now, of course, I think we were all very sad when they obviously went their separate ways with Kotono, which was health-related. It was all quite sad stuff. And at that time, I'd done several videos saying we're right on the precipice of something great. They had the Come See Me album, EP, which was just so good, and I felt like everything was working, and all they needed to do was sign up Wakazaemon as their bassist, take her from the sort of permanent presence on bass and actually make her a permanent member, and then we would be good to go. Well, obviously that kind of went the opposite way, and they became one member less with the loss of Kotono. But what we've got here, first of all, with the first piece of news, is the fact that Wakazaemon has signed on board. So at least that part of my original hope has been met. That thing has come to fruition. All of that hard work, touring and gigging with her and recording with her has now led to us having a KOIAI that actually features Wakazaemon as a full-time member. Now, Wakazaemon herself, she's done so many things working with Marty Friedman, touring with Marty Friedman. She was previously in East of Eden. You know, she's a very well-respected bassist. But it's worth pointing out, I did a reaction to this song not so long ago, because this only came out a few months ago. This is her most recent single, because she's also a solo artist. So I'm just going to, before we get into anything else, just have a quick little playthrough. If you're not used to Wakazaemon, well, I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard her previous work with KOIAI, but just here's a little bit of a clip of her last single, Solo Monophony. We'll listen to about a minute of this, just so you can get a feel for just how amazing she is on her own. Bassist and singer. I mean, you could just see, taking one look at her energy, her style, her music. And that voice. Not only is she just a fantastic musician, a fantastic presence, a fantastic personality, but I think she's also the sort of person who, having that extra skill of being an accomplished singer in her own right, she can sing lead on some songs, but even just singing backing on some songs. This is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to hearing MIREI's voice, because when we hear MIREI's voice, we're going to be able to hear how she will contrast to Wakazaemon if they both sing in songs. I know a minute has passed, but I don't like stopping Wakazaemon. Okay, there we go. I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to hear more of that, I've done a reaction to that song. You can check out that song as well. I'll try to remember to link it below. But obviously, Wakazaemon has signed up. She is a member of the group now. Now, here is their post as they originally made it. I have loaded it up in the English translation form, so you can have a little look here. It says, welcoming Wakazaemon bass and MIREI Sakurada vocals as core members. KOIAI is making a full-fledged restart. Now, I've been asked by a couple of people in my Discord. The Discord's been going for years on this channel. You can feel free to check it out in the link description below. We talk about all kinds of Japanese music there. But I was asked in my Discord by a few people, when they say these are full members, core members, what does core members mean? Does that mean they're actually permanent? Now, of course, I'm willing to accept them. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't put out an announcement like this saying it's a full-fledged restart unless you were saying, no, this is the band now. They are a 5-piece band. This, to me, looks like it's a permanent lineup. I am taking it as read in this video that is exactly what we're looking at, a permanent lineup, especially considering Wakazaemon on bass. Well, she was already on bass. I know she went and did that tour with Marty Friedman, but Wakazaemon was already on bass. So welcoming her, you're obviously upgrading her from just a constant presence to an actual member of the band. And so I imagine doing that in the same announcement as this one about Mirei is clearly saying, yes, this is now a 5-piece band with both members now joined up. It says their first appearance at Buzz Rhythm Live 2025 Buzzer Stage has been confirmed. KOIAI's performance date is November the 1st, Saturday. Don't miss the reborn KOIAI. Now, this is an interesting thing because what does it mean, reborn? Well, KOIAI's been through a few changes. I think, and forgive me, some people might want to point out some technicalities here, but I think that KOIAI's basically kind of grown out of the whole Lisa X band. It's kind of come out of that a little bit. There's definitely connections, the same sort of family connection with Lisa X and her being at the core of all this. And even on Come See Me, the last track was a self-cover of a song that they had done previously in Lisa X band. And of course, you've got the connections with Hazuki and such like. So I feel like, in a way, this is an evolution of that. However, for me, Come See Me, they'd been showing some really cool ideas before that, but Come See Me was that mini album that came out and just went... It turned from here's a lot of talented people doing really interesting things that kind of click to here is some really talented people doing an album that just clicks. Like everything on that album clicked. I did a full review of that. But the whole album just clicked. And to me, it felt like these are some super talented people who now have a project which can make not only the most out of their skills, but it's one of those things where the sum total is more. Well, the output of the band was more than the sum total of their parts, which were already some very incredibly strong members. I mean, I think Hazuki is super underrated. She's an amazing guitarist. Obviously, her involvement with Nemophila makes this even more interesting that she's doing both of these. Lisa X, obviously, we all know is a sort of child prodigy, extremely talented. But just the whole band, what a lineup. So, yeah, I was so excited for that. And so I was so disheartened when we had the news of them having to kind of take a break from activities. So in a way, I know they're saying it's reborn, and they kind of have to say that because they've got this new lineup and they're starting with a new singer and they have to focus on things in this kind of light. But I do hope that basically they are continuing in a way from where they left off with the previous sound. I hope they're kind of building on that because to me that just worked so well. Now, obviously, you want to have Mirei singing Mirei's type of songs, but in the same way that Katana was not a metal singer, she was a singer who had kind of a soulful voice. I kind of hope that, because we're about to have a first listen to Mirei and her vocals. I've never heard her vocals before. I kind of hope we're going to get something like that, where it's rather than being kind of like the big, loud singer, she's kind of got something a little bit more soulful, because to me, that's a big part of what made KOIAI so interesting and different from a lot of the other guitar bands that are very heavy usually. And, Wakazaemon's got this really cool voice that I can imagine pairing super well. So I want to see how those two voices pair. Anyway, right. So here's how we're going to approach this. And should point out as well, the banner on KOIAI's Twitter page is still just showing the 3 of them, which did raise a little bit of a question as well. And as you can see, we've only got the 3 members linked below. I am just going to check that I'm following all. I should be following all of them. Am I? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Remember to follow everyone, okay? So I'm really excited about it, but this is the way we're going to approach this. Now, first things first, because she's doing a cover of a Yoasobi song, just like we did with the Wakazaemon song a moment ago, we're going to have a quick listen to just a minute of the Yoasobi song, the original. So not only are we listening to Mirei's skills as a singer, but we're also listening to how she compares to the original to kind of see how she interprets the song. Now, obviously, when it comes to being a cover, I did try to look for some original songs by Mirei. I couldn't find any. So let's go with this. Let's see what we get. So first of all, let's have a quick listen to the Yoasobi original. Just, again, catch a minute or so. There is something about the vocals in Yoasobi's songs. They do have a thoughtful kind of quality that Mina Sakuda brings to vocals. is obviously quite a famous song. You've probably heard this in the past. Okay, so now we're going to listen to how the new KOIAI singer, MIREI Sakurada, how she tackles the same song. Now, again, obviously I know this song. I've never heard her sing before. Not to the best of my knowledge, unless someone's going to tell me that I did a Twitch stream thing or something. But I don't think I've ever heard her before. So I'm genuinely excited to hear this. Check this out. Let's go. First time hearing KOIAI's new singer. And we're going to hear her singing the Yoasobi song in question.
いつものように過ぎる日々にあくびが出るさんざめく夜越え今日も渋谷の街に朝が降る
Immediately like how she tackles those more delicate notes.
つまらないなでもそれでいいそんなもんさ
A little bit of vibrato on even the smallest notes.
隠してた本当の声を響かせてよほら見ないふりしていても確かにそこにあるああ感じたままに描く自分で選んだその色で眠い空気まとう朝に訪れた
The variation between the louder notes and the quiet notes.
好きだと呼ぶ怖くて仕方ないけど本当の自分出会えた気がしたんだ
A little no-no there. So again, the way that she's rising up to those bigger notes and those quieter notes, and it's never just overpowered. She's really sort of controlling and easing in her voice.
手を伸ばせば伸ばすほどに遠くへ行く思うようにいかない今日も
Listen to those really low, quiet notes as well, because they're quite hard to sing. You need to like push a lot of air up and a lot of control to get those. That's lovely. She landed that even with the vibrato perfectly. It's also really got those sort of sharp, like note starts and note ends. Oh, I'm loving it. I gotta say, when you imagine this voice on KOIAI songs, I think this is a really good choice. I'll break down the reasons why in a minute. She definitely sounds very different from either Linus of Yoasobi or from Katana. But the style of singing, so expressive and yet so gentle. It's not a lack of power, it's a wonderful display of control. What I love about that recording is you can tell that was recorded with minimal editing or anything that's just been put in there. But you know what? I'm also glad I picked this song. It's a song that I know, and it's obviously it's actually quite a surprisingly involved melody to sing. It's got a lot of kind of low notes that have to be hit very suddenly, and you've got these high notes that come down, and you've got a whole range of vocals control that you have to display. And obviously, it's interesting because when you go for those low notes that are bottom of your range, because if you just go for a low note, your voice kind of disappears. And your voice just goes away. So to get a low note, but also project it, you do actually have to push a lot of air up. So to get those low notes, have them land quickly, perfectly in tune, but also at a bit of vibrato, that's a really great sign of someone who's got superb vocal control, or at least there's no questions about her vocal control. But this was wonderful, the way she rose up and she went for all these notes. Now, she's got quite a lot of covers on her channel. This song came out as well, but I noticed that she's down as the featuring artist in this one, so I didn't want to sort of jump in with a song where she was a featuring artist. But on her channel, she's done a few covers here, which is absolutely superb, which is why I jumped into this one that I do actually know. And yeah, just wow. I would therefore say, when we're talking about this, when a band signs something as important as a new singer, and they're talking about, as they are here, like the reborn band and all these kind of things, it really sort of brings to your mind a case of, okay, is the band going in the same direction that I want them to go in? I'm not saying the band has to be the same thing forever and ever, but are they building upon the things about them that I liked in the past? Because obviously bands grow, bands change, but the things that change should usually be kind of interesting things where maybe they want to add a little bit more nuance, so they want to try different styles, but the core values should still be the same if you're going to continue being a fan. Obviously a band can do whatever they want, but for you as a fan, you want the core things that you enjoy to be the same, even if everything around changes from album to album. And as I mentioned, one of the things that to me was so special about KOIAI is that they had musicianship was incredible. We all knew that. That was the thing that was front and center before they even released things like Come See Me. We'd all heard the recordings of them just jamming and stuff. The musicianship was incredible, but when we got into hearing their actual songs, it was the fact that the musicianship was always there for serving the purpose of the song. I will get around to the vocals in a minute. You'll see where I'm going with this, if you haven't already guessed. The musicianship was for the purpose of serving the end product, which is what made them so great, is it never felt showy, even though they had the talent. So that's why I was so excited when Wakazaemon got signed up, because that was something where she fit in perfectly with the band. She had this excess of talent, but she used the talent in the sparing and controlled way that helped their songs sound so interesting. Again, I'm going to reference Come See Me as such a fantastic example of that. And so when it came to the vocals, this is the area where we were in a complete unknown. And they'd played live with a couple of other singers just to test them out. There'd been various comments, but the thing is that I felt that they had some really cool singers who they worked with. And the question was, okay, what are they going to go for? Because the singer they pick really tells you a lot about the direction they're going to go in. And the thing that I liked so much about Kotono was, once again, that ability to sing in a way that was extremely professional, but like with all the instruments, it never felt like she was showing off or pushing her voice to the maximum. It just felt like she was displaying this control that allowed her to deliver these really interesting, emotional, but subtle melodies. And that, to me, from the performance I just heard, is what MIREI seems to have delivered beautifully in that performance, and that has me very hopeful. Yes, her voice is very different from Kotono's in a lot of ways. Her voice is very different from, obviously, Lila from Yoasobi, and yet you expect a singer to not just be a cover act. You expect them to bring their own style, but she's brought her own style, and she's demonstrated that she sings, well, from what I've heard here, she's demonstrated that she sings in a way that is, that's the kind of vocalist, yeah, if you're going to have a new vocalist, that's the kind of vocalist I can get excited about. So I'm genuinely excited about this. KOIAI was a band who were just about hitting on like this pace where I was like, oh my God, this is something I'm genuinely going to start falling in love with. Then they went away. And all I wanted them to do at the time was sign up Wakazaemon. But we lost Kotono instead. Well, they come back, they have signed up Wakazaemon, and we've got a new singer who, yeah, she's a new singer. It's a new era, but boy, oh boy, she seems to be picking up the baton from where they left off. And just a quick reminder to everyone, when Kotono did have to put out that announcement about stepping back from the band, she was really open about the fact that she wanted them to find a new singer who could really continue what the band have been, and I feel like that's exactly what they've done. So I hope everyone is happy here. I hope Katana's doing well. I know she's picked up and started working on some new music since all of this. And this just makes me really excited. This is a 5-piece. How can you look at that 5-piece and not be excited? I am genuinely looking forward to seeing what they release next. What an amazing group. What an amazing lineup. I'm really excited to see what this 5-piece does, just playing some of the older Come See Me songs as well. I'd just love to hear them play Come See Me anyway, because obviously not to replace Katana, but just out of interest to see how it would sound. But I'm really excited to see what they bring us next. Hopefully we can get another mini album fairly soon just to sort of kickstart this new era, but brilliant stuff. Yokohama Arena. If you are in Japan in November, this seems like a must to go to. But anyway, those are my thoughts. As always, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the new singer, about her performance, about all the lineup. I hope you're supportive. Even if you're not a big fan of any of these changes, let's be as supportive as we can in the comments because, hey, it's a band starting on. They've had a difficult journey so far and they're pushing ahead, and I'm really glad for them. So let's be as supportive as we can, honest in the comments. And remember, again, we got that Discord if you want to talk to more people about Japanese music and all that kind of stuff. And until I hopefully see you either in the Discord, in the comments, or in the next video. For now, ciao, ciao.